Since its very beginnings, the Alienware brand has been synonymous with exclusivity, often out of reach for a wider audience due to the high prices that inevitably come with a combination of top-tier performance, futuristic design, and various custom solutions. And it has to be said, they always knew how to grab attention and create something you'd admire longingly, even if you neither had the money for it nor the chance to buy it in your favorite tech store. After being acquired by Dell in 2006, which recognized the potential of this kind of approach, Alienware seems to have only grown in popularity. The portfolio expanded further, and the brand became more accessible both in terms of pricing and thanks to the strong distribution network of its parent company. Today we are taking a look at an Alienware monitor that most gamers can realistically afford, and whose strongest selling point, besides the Alienware pedigree, is an impressive 320Hz panel refresh rate. We're talking about the Alienware AW2525HM, which retails at around $250. It is a monitor primarily aimed at demanding esports players who want maximum performance without spending a fortune. So let's see how it performs and what it has to offer. When it comes to design, this is a noticeably more restrained looking device than you might expect from Alienware, but one that strikes a good balance between aesthetics, simplicity, and practicality. The stand and the back of the panel feature a modern design with rounded edges and surfaces that give the monitor a very distinctive, slightly unusual look. This is further enhanced by a deep blue-purple hue with a sandblasted texture and a subtle matte metallic sheen present across the entire monitor except for the panel frame. The base of the stand is fairly compact and sits only slightly above the desk surface, leaving plenty of desk space, especially given that this is a 24.5-inch monitor. The vertical part of the stand includes a cable management cutout and allows for 20 degrees of swivel to each side, tilt adjustment from 5 degrees downward to 20 degrees upward, height adjustment over an 11 cm range, and 90-degree pivot in both directions. The back of the monitor is quite minimal, with elliptical ventilation openings, a polished Alienware logo, and matching ornamental elements on the opposite side of the panel. Near the top of the left side edge there's also a practical and sturdy headphone hanger made of metal that slides out via a push mechanism when needed. Viewed from the front, this is a typical modern monitor with a super thin continuous bezel around the panel, plus about 3 mm of additional margin on the top and sides, and a standard bottom strip that reminds you that you're using Alienware. The connector section, located in the middle of the lower backside and facing downward, includes a direct power connector, no external adapter, 2 HDMI ports, 1 DisplayPort input, and a 5 GB per second USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type-B port for connecting to a PC. It's worth noting that the HDMI ports are limited to 225 Hz, while DisplayPort supports the full 320 Hz refresh rate. Beneath the left edge of the panel, you'll find 2 easily accessible USB Type-A ports for peripherals. Under the right edge is the power button, while a mini joystick sits at the center for navigating the on-screen display and adjusting all monitor functions. Pressing the joystick brings up a quick menu that provides access to basic image settings, gaming options, display modes, input selection, or the full menu. All 5 positions in the quick menu can be customized to include any function you want for fast access. The same goes for assigning actions to each of the 4 joystick directions, making this a very practical solution, especially for gamers who will actively use some of the special features this model offers during gameplay. The main menu itself is clean and easy to navigate, organized into 3 columns: categories on the left, sub-options in the center, and available values on the right. The first menu section is Game, where you'll find the gaming-focused features. In addition to the usual options we see on most monitors, such as timers, frame rate counters, crosshairs, and a dark stabilizer for improving shadow visibility, there are also a few specific features designed to give you a competitive edge. These are accessible through one of 3 Alien Vision modes, which you can customize and activate at any point during gameplay if you think they might make a difference. Each mode stores specific settings for 6 different parameters. First, there's an adjustable field that takes a part of or the whole screen, in which you can choose a standard image, boosted shadow levels, the so-called night mode, or a chroma mode that resembles a thermal camera and can, in certain situations, make it easier to spot and track opponents. Within this field, you can also adjust the intensity of a sharpness filter that further highlights objects and characters, as well as enable an on-screen crosshair in one of 4 designs and customizable colors, including an automatic option that always contrasts with the content. It is a very flexible solution that could arguably be considered a bit of an unfair advantage if you even want your games to look like that. Personally, I prefer a normal image and enjoying the visuals as intended, but since esports is only an occasional pastime for me, I'm probably not the target audience for this model. For those who are, however, these features can absolutely make sense. That said, the main advantage everyone will appreciate is the aforementioned 320Hz refresh rate, which combined with the full HD resolution allows gamers to fully exploit fast response times and high frame rates. The key reason 320Hz is desirable, especially for esports, lies in panel response and image clarity in fast-moving scenes, enabling quicker visual recognition and reaction times. A fast IPS at such a high refresh rate offers better pixel persistence, meaning less motion blur and clearer visuals for fast-moving objects or during rapid camera turns in FPS games. The Alienware AW2525HM delivers an excellent response time, officially rated at 0.5 milliseconds, realistically a bit higher, but still among the best we've seen natively on a non-OLED monitor. Interestingly, there's no backlight strobing option, which is relatively common on gaming monitors and can further improve motion clarity. However, overdrive adjustment is available with 3 levels: fast, superfast, and extreme. The extreme setting introduces mild overshoot, inverse ghosting, while superfast strikes a good balance between response time and image quality. To truly take advantage of the response benefits, you'll need hardware capable of pushing frame rates close to the maximum 320 FPS in the games you play. The relatively low 920 by 1080 resolution helps here, and for those who don't strictly play competitive titles but still want a smoother experience, frame generation technologies like NVIDIA DLSS 4.5 can also help. Speaking of smoothness, variable refresh rate support is of course included across all major GPU platforms with NVIDIA G-Sync, AMD FreeSync, and VESA Adaptive Sync Display 320 certification. As for image quality, we've already mentioned that this is a 24.5-inch fast IPS panel. While Full HD resolution at this size won't impress in terms of text sharpness and smoothness, it's perfectly acceptable and for gaming and the intended use of this model likely an unavoidable compromise. On the other hand, based on what we observed and measured, this is a very good IPS panel overall. First off, there's excellent brightness uniformity as well as the expected wide viewing angles. The anti-reflective coating is also outstanding, fully matte and providing excellent visibility when viewed straight on without reflections. Because of this coating, however, visibility from the side under strong lighting is almost non-existent, as light is scattered in such a way that the image practically disappears, effectively acting as a privacy filter if you have a window to the side. Measured peak brightness reached 430.8 nits, slightly above the rated value, while the measured static contrast ratio was a very consistent 1000:1 across all display modes, which is a standard figure for IPS panels. In terms of color reproduction, we measured coverage of an impressive 92.5% of the DCI-P3 color space, which is an excellent result for a monitor that doesn't explicitly advertise true 10-bit color and, as far as we know, doesn't use quantum dot technology. HDR is supported, which makes sense given the wide color gamut, but due to IPS contrast limitations, don't expect true HDR performance. In the Alien Command Center app, Dolby Vision is also available with several modes, along with all the same settings accessible directly on the monitor, but in a more convenient way. Factory color calibration is very good, with delta E values below 3 in 10 out of 12 preset display modes, the best result being with a delta E of 2.3 in the sRGB mode. We don't see this very often, especially on gaming monitors, so kudos to Alienware, or rather Dell, for that. All things considered, the Alienware AW2525HM is a monitor that will primarily appeal to gamers on a tight budget, seeking maximum response performance for fast-paced competitive games, performance that's achievable even on somewhat weaker hardware. With a price around $250, it's perhaps not the cheapest option with these specifications, but it's still relatively affordable, especially for those who want the Alienware brand and some of the specific features this model offers. That would be all for this review, but we're looking forward to hearing your thoughts on this monitor in the comments below. If you found this review helpful, hit the like button and support what we do, and maybe consider subscribing to our channel for more interesting tech content. You were watching Bench House, my name is Ivan, and I'll see you next time.